Hi there, I'm Cemal Ezal, and I'm the founder of Change Peace Coffee, which is a new supplier of coffee into Compass and Eurest. What I love about coffee is its ability to bring people together and connect people, but also to create a sense of community, which is especially important now in a post-lockdown world. I'm also really excited about the changing trends in coffee, which enable us to change the world for a better place, both from an environmental and societal perspective. Not all coffee is equal. Coffee might look the same, it might taste the same, but really what's happening behind the scenes, from what farmer is growing the coffee, how they're growing the coffee, how it's shipped, the roasting process that coffee goes through, all the way up to the person who's serving you that coffee, is fundamentally important for us to create a better planet, a more equitable society, but also to make sure that what we're doing on a daily basis is sustainable. At Change Please, we are a not-for-profit social enterprise. We find people that are homeless and rough sleeping, and we train them to be specialty level baristas, to really give them an opportunity to lift themselves out of homelessness. So we find people at shelters, and with organisations like Crisis, Shelter, Big Issue, we then give that person an opportunity with a 1 to 3 month training programme. The people that make it through become Change Peace employees, and we pay them a living wage, where in London it works out to £22,360 a year. In 10 days, we offer all of our staff housing. So that means in 10 days they're not homeless anymore. A bank account, therapy support, and in partnership with Compass, we support our staff into onward employment to work in many of Compass and Eurest's locations, to really give that person a sustainable way out of homelessness. One of the key parts of our process is to really support somebody who has mental health issues, or whether you're a victim of domestic abuse, ex-offender, a military veteran, have OCD, to really support somebody with therapy support. And all of the revenue and profits that we generate working through Compass goes into those areas of housing, therapy support, and paying a living wage. So we have a responsibility to ensure that farmers are paid fairly for the coffee that they grow. But we also have a responsibility to make sure we pass on and educate information to farmers, so they're able to grow coffee in a way which makes it as sustainable for them as possible. So what we do is speak to farmers and help to share information from more affluent farming communities in, say, Brazil, Colombia, to poorer ones in, say, Kenya or Ethiopia, so that actually they change the way they grow coffee and farm coffee to be one which reduces deforestation, allows them to change their processes from a natural process to a washed process, and therefore increase the amount of yield and productivity that they have on a yearly basis. It's very tempting for farmers to cut down trees and increase the amount of arable land that they're growing in. If we can try and encourage them to increase the amount of shade-grown coffee that they're producing, it means that the coffee will naturally be organic, but also it will increase the amount of birds, insects, animals that are able to use those trees as protection and cover and as their natural habitat. It also naturally increases biodiversity as well. So I see as an opportunity for us in the future is to really work with farmers to encourage them to grow shade-grown coffee. And that's something that I hope we're going to see in the next couple of years. So we work with farmers directly at origin to help educate them and give them the best practices to be able to grow more sustainable coffee. But we also try to find farms that are working with their local communities as well on a more social impact basis. So we work with a farm in Peru that supports women who are victims of domestic abuse. Another farm in Tanzania that supports landmine victims. The coffee then comes to the UK, where it's roasted by our sister organisation, Old Spike Roastery, to then support people who are homeless into employment. The coffee then comes to a range of sites, and it's sold by people that are homeless, either through Compass locations or on the streets of London and across the country. We only use cups that are made out of plants, not plastic, and we convert all of our waste coffee grounds into biofuel. This way we can be as sustainable as possible, not just from bean to cup, but from bean to coffee grounds. Current research shows that 45% of people will pay more for their cup of coffee if it benefits the people more that are growing the coffee beans. When we heard that stat, we we started to look into other ways that we can drastically improve the amount of money that farmers are earning. So we partnered with an organisation in Holland to use blockchain technology to really track that process that the coffee makes from bean to our cup. And that allows us to reduce the amount of fraud, corruption, track the pollution trail, but most importantly, make sure that that farmer earns as much money as possible for growing the coffee that we drink on a daily basis. Typically, a farmer will earn 1/15 of a penny of a £2.50 cup of coffee. But what we're able to do to make sure that farmers are being paid fairly is to ensure that a farmer earns 1 penny from a £2.50 cup of coffee at least. Now that means we're able to have a sustainable way of working, improve the amount of money that farmers earn, but most importantly, have full transparency on the way that we represent what coffee we purchase to our clients. So this technology we hope will come out in the next couple of years, where most likely we'll be able to have an iPad or a piece of technology on the front of a counter that says today's coffee or this month's coffee has been purchased from these farmers and showing exactly how much those farmers are earning. Now that will allow us to have full transparency but also put pressure on other organisations that aren't being as sustainable and as transparent and allow us to really have as much opportunity to change the world that we live in. Undoubtedly, we've seen an increase in demand from businesses asking to work with social enterprises. And this has coincided with the number of Gen Zs and millennials who are now entering the workplace and working in organisations that Compass and Eurest represent. Gen Zs will comprise of nearly 40% of all consumers in the next 2 years. That accounts for nearly 2.26 billion people. So there's no wonder there's a changing demand from consumers and employees of organisations for social enterprise products. A recent study from Deloitte showed that on average 42% of millennials would deepen their relationship with businesses if they purchased social or environmental impact products. And 38% would reduce their relationship if businesses were not. And 59% of employees of organisations would leave their companies in 2 years, and 74% in 5 years if they were not prioritising these issues. We see this impact on a daily basis. When colleagues go to a Change Peace coffee bar and speak to one of our baristas and hear that they were a victim of domestic abuse, an ex-offender, a military veteran, and just, the same as all of us, a brother, a sister, a mother, a friend, that really helps to engage the impact of what we do, but also engage employees and consumers at the same time. So future coffee innovations from 2020 onwards will really continue to include ready-to-drink coffees, alternative coffees such as macadamia nut lattes, rainbow coffees, matcha, beetroot, all of those wonderful, exciting, colourful coffees that we've all grown to see over the last 16 months. We're also seeing a whole range of new alternative milks as well. So starting from almond milk, soya milks that we've all known, and oat milks, to now looking at things like pea, rice, hemp, are really going to change our purchasing behaviour and the way our colleagues and employees are purchasing alternative milks as well. Mostly from a health perspective, but also looking at an environmental perspective as well. We're also seeing a whole new range of sustainable cups. So typically the best case option that we've seen for sustainable products are the CPLA, non-plastic, biodegradable cup. The only challenge with this is it needs to be industrially composted. So we're now starting to see new options come about, especially bamboo paper cups that are disposable, which mean they don't have to be industrially composted and they can just go into a normal waste stream and decompose. That will be the holy grail of sustainable packaging within the coffee industry, if it happens, and we're expecting to see that within the next year. Between 2018 and 2019, reusable cups have become incredibly popular, but it's still very convenient to use a disposable cup. So we wanted to try some nudge behaviour to see whether or not we can encourage consumers to stop using our disposable cups. So we did some trials where typically a site would offer a 50p discount if they didn't use a disposable cup and they bought their own reusable cup. And the uptake of that from a £2.50 cup of coffee was relatively low. We then changed attitudes where we said the cost of the coffee is £2, and to have a disposable cup, there'll be a 50p penalty. So the end cost of the coffee for a disposable cup at £2.50 was exactly the same, but the use of disposable cups drastically dropped just by changing the attitude and the narrative around having to pay or have a penalty for that disposable cup. And we really feel that that option can really help to encourage consumers to stop using disposable cups and nudge them towards bringing their own reusable one. Undoubtedly, we've all been using technology more during coronavirus times. Whether that's purchasing products online, connecting with friends, family and colleagues online, technology use has been key during the last 2 or 3 months. And post-lockdown, we really see the use of pre-ordering apps as being fundamental in making customers feel safe when they're coming into cafe environments. An example of that has been a recent study that we've done showing that 61% of our customers will feel more comfortable going into cafe environments, and 47% of our customers will go to coffee shops more if they know there is a pre-ordering solution available to them. So we really see this in the short and medium term as being a fundamental way of enticing consumers back into a coffee setting and really make them feel comfortable about re-engaging in those environments. So we've really seen an increase in consumers buying home-ordered coffee via subscriptions. And we really see that continuing over the next 6 to 12 months, especially because those consumers were purchasing coffee paraphernalia such as French presses, V60s, Chemexes to make that coffee at home. Even some people buying full-on espresso machines for them to brew their coffees. So we feel a huge opportunity within workplace environments is to offer coffee bags which are either pre-ground or whole bean, so people could then buy them and take them home, or also brew those products at their desk, with the opportunity to sell retail products as well, such as a little V60, so they can brew the coffee at their desk. Those little changes will entice people back to coffee environments and make them feel comfortable. We have a great opportunity to change the world that we live in through the coffee that we choose to buy. Not only supporting the farmer of origin, the person that roasted the coffee, but also supporting the person that served you your coffee on a daily basis. Coffee has a fantastic way of creating a sense of normality, habit, ritual that we've all been missing over the last 2 or 3 months. And we want to prove that the last 2 or 3 months was just a blip, and we can all come back to that sense of normality. And working with Compass, we want to try and change the lives of the people that we're supporting all the way through the supply chain and prove that we really can make the world a better place. Thank you.